So, while everyone is reviewing Twisters for some reason, I'm going to talk about a movie that's worth your time and your money. I'm here to talk about Oddity from 2024. Oddity is an Irish film written and directed by Damian McCarthy, his second feature-length film, and second for Shudder. His debut was Caveat from 2020, and after seeing Oddity, I really want to see that. I might be new to McCarthy's work, but I'm liking how he links his stuff together in different ways. It's really, really cool. Kind of reminds me of those two directors. They directed those movies. One was called Spring. I think the other one was called The Endless. Kind of a similar situation with those guys' first few films. For an example, back in 2013, Damian McCarthy directed a short called How Olin Lost His Eye. And I haven't seen that, but Olin is a character from Oddity. And in Oddity, there's a scene where you see a stuffed rabbit, which is from Damian McCarthy's first film, Caveat. Again, that type of thing is super cool to me, and I hope we see more of that from him. So this film stars Carolyn Bracken, Willem Lee, and Tig Murphy. I must admit, all like Irish and Welsh actors, none that I was familiar with. So Oddity is about a blind occultist woman investigating her twin sister's mysterious and unexpected murder using paranormal methods that she seems to be gifted with. And first of all, this is a masterclass on how to keep a movie tight. It's got a runtime of 1 hour and 38 minutes, and there's not an ounce of fat here. I mean, come on, it's no secret that Hollywood films have become increasingly bloated and lethargic, often being a half hour too long, or sometimes more. This film just cuts right to the chase. I was never once bored, and I felt engaged every second, while I watched this thing. In the theater, by myself. Yeah, not one other person showed up. Now I know this was the very first showing at my local Regal theater. I get it, it was 4 p.m. on a Thursday. I do hope that the other showings do better, though. So, in the beginning, you see Dani, played by Carolyn Bracken. She's working on the new house that she bought in the countryside with her husband, Ted, played by Willem Lee. And suddenly there's a knock at the door, which is odd considering it's late at night and the house is in a really rural area. So she cracks the door open and sees a man standing there. A man with long hair, he's kind of unkempt looking, and he's got one fake eye, and he claims to be there to help her. He's kind of a scary looking dude. He said that he was walking by and saw someone sneak into the house while she was grabbing something out of her car. She doesn't hear anything inside the house, and she, as much as she kind of wants to, she's struggling to trust this guy. She's home alone, and, he's asking for her to let him come inside so that she might be safer. And he mentions to her that he used to be a patient of her husband's. This makes her trust him even less because her husband works at a facility for the mentally challenged. But he does seem genuinely concerned, and she feels it. You can tell that she feels it, but she just can't risk letting this strange man inside while she's home alone. She then asks him to leave, and he says that he'll walk into town and call the police. This kind of leaves Dani second guessing her decision, but I mean, come on, think about it. It was the right move that she had to make. That night, however, she was murdered. Obviously, I won't go into details about that, and it shouldn't be seen as a spoiler, by the way. This is within the first maybe 10 minutes of the movie. I mean, this movie just has so many cool elements. At its core, I'd call it horror, but it has other stuff going on as well. It's also kind of a murder mystery with lots of supernatural elements, as Darcy, Dani's twin sister, is determined to avenge Dani's death. And I think that's what makes this movie so interesting, is that everything about it just comes off as very unique, at least to me. Nothing seems overly cliche or tired or overdone. It's the perfect blend of all its influences. It has a kind of grounded in reality feel, which surprised me considering that our main character is an occultist with a, strong connection to the paranormal. Dani and Darcy are both played by Carolyn Bracken. She's the star of the show here, and she's just wonderful. I mean, Dani, as a character, is only in this movie for a couple of minutes or whatever, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. And then some flashbacks and stuff, but she's a great character. She's so likable. She does exactly the job that she needed to do, which was to get you to like her, to get you to, as the viewer, to care about her. And that, and when she dies, you're really you're really bothered by it. You're kind of pissed off. You're really, really rooting for Darcy to, get this figured out and make things right. That's just great acting, and that's just great writing. And Darcy owns kind of like an occult shop where she sells like rare items that she claims are all cursed. She also has an ability where she can see past events from someone's life if she has a personal item of theirs, and she, intends to use these powers to find the truth about her sister's murder. And she was gifted her shop by her mom when she died, so I feel like maybe, these powers were passed down. All this, plus the fact that Darcy is completely blind, makes her such a unique and endearing character. I loved her. So Darcy sets out to visit her sister's house to find out what really went down that night when her sister was murdered. I really want to gush about this movie because I just loved it so much. It's got a quite interesting atmosphere with a heavy sense of dread during certain moments. It's not scary all the time, but when it wants to be, it's pretty scary. There's a jump scene in particular that I swear it almost made me jump out of my seat. The acting, very good by even by the minor characters, but I really couldn't take my eyes off Carolyn Bracken. I think Darcy is one of my favorite movie characters of the last 5 years or so, honestly. And of course, I have to mention the Wooden Man. I was thinking about how to introduce him, but I didn't really know how without spoiling anything, but I think I kind of have it down. So he's kind of like a grotesque, life-size carved wooden figure said to be gifted to Darcy's mom by a witch. I won't reveal its use in the movie, but he was a unique and interesting addition to an already unique story. So I really can't recommend this enough. It's definitely going to be in my top 10 movies of 2024, if not my top 5, at least that's my prediction so far. Guys, please go and see this. Damian McCarthy is a promising director and he needs the support. This isn't a hyped film by any means, but it's really, really good. And, so go take a chance maybe and go see something that you maybe haven't heard much about. I mean, hell, I wasn't even really sold on the trailer. I saw it a couple of months ago. I don't know. Anyways, I'm giving Oddity an 8 out of 10. It was really just such a breath of fresh air for me. And like with Long Legs, I'm still thinking about it days later. Cheers, guys.